Legs Media. You know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thanks. We got lots of stuff coming up. What's up, people? Thanks for tuning in. And once again, we have an interview with another female pro cyclist. I'm happy to have with me today Ayesha McGowen. I remember seeing her when she started, and here she is now. And we're going to get into this conversation as I'm allowed to introduce herself. But before she does that, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. You know what to do. Say it with your legs media. And we are talking to the one and only.
Hi, I'm Ayesha McGowen. I am a professional cyclist and an advocate for better representation for Black people, Indigenous people, and people of color in cycling and in the outdoors. I started A Quick Brown Fox as a way to tell my story as I was trying to become a professional, and now it has been converted into a resource for other people who are hopefully trying to do the same, and also a resource for people who just want to try new things in cycling or outside. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at this year. I'm taking a bit of a break from European racing and supporting the programs that I've built, namely the Abundance Project. Put together quite a few really awesome things for the year, and I'm excited to support them.
Okay, cool. Yo, I'm going to take it right back to the beginning, because I was fortunate enough to see or be around when you started. And the first thing that comes to mind is the commercial that I saw with Ayesha and, wanted to be like get representation in the sport for us. And I don't know which mountain you were going up, but I just remember you sprinting in this commercial, in this ad, and then that's the first memory of you, and then your dream to become the first female Black pro cyclist. How did that even come about? Like, even to get to that point for people to take an interest and shoot that commercial and start promoting you.
I was pretty vocal from the start about what I wanted to do, and I think it piqued the interest of quite a few people, because it was something that wasn't really being done.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did get a few opportunities that were really cool to help me broadcast my story and to gain a bit more support. And so I'm super, super happy and thankful for that.
That was pretty cool. So how did your journey go from that point? Was it a struggle was it a lot?
It's still a lot.
It's still a lot.
Yeah, I don't think that any of this is linear for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it was a matter of I was, older than most people usually are when they start this sort of journey. I am a African American woman. I live in the United States, and all of those things are not super helpful when you're trying to become a Euro pro. But I think I just had this wild determination. For some reason, I just knew it was possible, and so I just stuck to it. It was never for me a matter of if, it was always when. And I think that's the only reason I succeeded, to be honest.
You know what's cool though? For the women, unlike the men, there isn't really a cap on the age. When it comes to the age, like the women can literally, someone who's 32 or 33 who got into the sport at 28 and becomes good, can literally work their way into the pro field. But for the men, it's completely different. If no matter how good you are at about 33 and you come into the sport, they're like, we don't know, you're too old. So that is an unfair advantage that women have. But it's
unfair is not the right way to put it. I think because the men also have a lot more resources. They have pipelines, they have support, they have money.
Yeah.
There are things in place for the men that just aren't in place for the women. And a lot of women don't find the sport until later, because of a lack of access, because of a lack of knowing that it even, that it's even a possibility for them. So I don't think it's unfair. I think it's different because the men have a massive head start. And
Definitely.
So there's just a lot more structure around the men's peloton that makes it so that it is just not as structured for the women's peloton, so that there are a few more opportunities to get in there, but at what cost is always the question.
Yeah, it's definitely a cost. I mean, I see it every day. I see it when I go to the races. I see it watching the races. I see it in the coverage, like the Volta Valencia the other day. They had I say 80% of the men's race, but then they didn't start the ladies' race until 30 kilometers to go, and then you missed the key part of the race where the actual like main like event that caused the race, like caused the ending of the race, or dictated the end of the race, which was the climb. And I can't remember the young lady, but it was just amazing to see her, you know. But they missed the best part of the race, so that's the one thing that I have noticed, things like that. It's just a lot. It's just a lot of things that they could do better, and I'm pretty sure people are working on it. And then when we have folks like yourself, who come in and say, "Hey, you need to fix that." That's what's up. That's all we need. So yeah, you said that you're not going to be in Europe this year, like because any particular reasons why? Like,
I've had a lot of health trouble and it's just been super stressful. And my body just isn't, it's not there right now. So I'm
mm-hmm,
taking a break to kind of restructure, figure out if it's something that I even need to continue to do, figure out if it's something that I can continue to do. Um, yeah, I just, the whole fibroids situation that I've been experiencing for the past, I guess longer than I've even known about it,
mm-hmm.
has really thrown a whole wrench in everything. So I feel super fortunate to have reached my goal to become a professional, but my time there was not super fantastic because I've been dealing with this pretty major health issue the entire time. And so it has impacted how I was able to race or not able to race. And um, it's just not been as much fun as I would like.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, that's a lot of hard work to get to where you got to, and then to sort of have to like pump the brakes. But I'm guessing that you're using like everything that you got into where you got to try to enhance like other things. Like you had a program you mentioned that you was working on.
Yeah, so I started the Abundance Project in 2021, I believe. And basically, it's a pathway from beginner to pro for women of color. So folks who want to do what I did, and have a bit more support in doing that instead of being like a lone
Mm-hmm.
soldier just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
We support as best as we can. Obviously, we don't have all of the resources to manufacture professionals, but we do our best, and I'm really proud of the program and what we've been able to accomplish so far. So.
Okay. So with the program and how is it with the program and and the way it's going, are you like the first person that, or the organization that comes to mind is like UCI, and UCI are always toting that they want to add diversity or inclusion and stuff. Are they helping with your program at all?
No, I have not reached out to them either. I feel like I'm not quite there yet.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's a bridge that I will try and cross at some point. I don't know how supportive they will be or how interested they would be. But that would be fantastic if they would support the program that I've built. But in the meantime, I'm really working on the building blocks, the ground level. When we started in 2021, we had absolute beginners.
Mm-hmm.
And we supported 9 women to do a big race in America. And last year we were able to support 63 women. So it's growing. There's a lot more women of color in the American pelotons, which is really, really great. And obviously the big step is to get them over to Europe, but first we have to get them through the ranks over in the US. And so that's the thing that we're focused on at the moment,
So
one step at a time.
that answers my next question. I was going to ask, do you have any ladies in Europe that are like currently doing the thing? But you said everyone is still in the US, correct?
Yeah, for now. Yeah.
So your ultimate goal is to basically have like your camp or become a feeder type camp for like the big pro teams.
I mean, that would be great. Um, Ideally, we would be the starting point for women of color in America and maybe other places to find their way over into Europe. But I'm just kind of throwing things at the wall, seeing what sticks, trying to support people in their dreams the best as I can and see where they go. This year is the first year that we're going to have an elite team, a composite team in America. So we finally do have support for elite riders, which before that was not really a thing because there weren't very many elite riders that we could support, or at least that we knew about. So that's a really exciting development. One of them has been with us since she started, so that's really cool for me as well. And just excited to see how we can keep growing and keep pushing people forward. I think that it's going to be a really good year.
Definitely. It sounds like it. It sounds like it. And it's weird because it's my long term dream is to open up an international youth cycling academy, which is like everything they're just saying is pretty much identical to what I want to do. But my focus is going to be on Caribbean and African you know, youngsters because in the Caribbean, like it's pretty sad some of the situations, and some of the kids that are really good. Like I did an interview with kids, Sandy Sidwell, and it's up on the channel, and he was saying he's got a really nice bike. He's in Guyana, and he had to miss 3 races last year because his bottom bracket failed on him, and it's really hard to get parts into Guyana. So they could get the nice bikes, and because stuff is so expensive, like the basic bikes that I came up with, we were able to fix them. We didn't have to wait months because they were basic. But now everything is high tech, super light, super press fit, and all of this stuff. So he's had to suffer. He's been in contact with me, and I said and I'm basically right here, right now. I'm actually trying to get him parts so he could fix his bike because the season starts on the 11th and stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, what you're doing, it sounds similar to my long-term goal. But that's so cool. So yeah, we're gonna just tackle that from both angles. So that
Yeah, I
anyway,
mean, the more people that are, contributing to creating more pathways, the more pathways exist.
yeah,
So I think it's really great that you know, I never thought it would be just me. I'm and excited to hear that other people are trying to like do stuff as well. And there were people before me trying to do stuff, and there will be people after me trying to do stuff. And
yeah.
so we're all just trying to make a way out of basically nothing because there's just still so much work to be done.
It is, but I think you have an advantage because you've been through the steps to get there. So your qualifications are going to sort of like dictate or interpret what's going to happen like within how your your program comes along, because a lot of people that do start these things, they do it because they want to help. They see they haven't really been in the mix, but you've been in the mix, and you're going to be able to better tell, better advise, and yeah, I think it's a good look, and I don't even doubt that it's not going to be successful. I think you're going to be successful. I think it's going to be amazing, and I'm really looking forward to how things turn out for you. What do you have a name for the team that your elite team in the US?
So I'm bringing back a Quick Brown Fox
Mm-hmm.
as a team name for the Elite Composite team. We're actually racing in 2 weeks at Valley of the Sun, and then in 3 weeks at Tucson Bicycle Classic in Arizona, in America.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to do Redlands and hopefully also Joe Martin. So some of the bigger races in America. So I'm excited about that. Yeah.
Any major sponsors for the team?
Liv, SRAM, Zwift, my usual partners.
That's
They've really
dope.
stepped up and they help out. So shout out to them, all of them.
So, and the elite team is going to what? It's 6 women, 10 women.
For the for Joe Martin and Redlands, it'll be about 6 women. We don't. It's since it's a composite, it's not like a dedicated team.
Okay.
So a lot of these women are on other teams throughout the year, and then maybe they're on like a crit squad, a criterium squad, so they can't. They don't have access to the bigger road races, and so that's why we come in, and those are the races that'll get you more experience that you need. That's closer to a European style of racing. This criterium is very much an American situation.
Yeah. So that's like an issue that I see in the U.S. that keeps the U.S. riders at a disadvantage, not having the structure of like the team structure that you find in the European teams, where like this is your team, this is who you're with for the whole year, this is where you go do
Hmm.
stuff. So that like I'm pretty sure you're gonna get to that point because it sounds like you're on the right track already, and it's like I didn't know you was doing all of that.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to start a team. We started a
Mm,
Cat 3 team, but they're very autonomous. So basically, we support from the sidelines and help them do whatever they want. It's comprised of alumni of our program, so people who come through our program and now they're on a dedicated team to get from Cat 3, which is the last step of like super amateur, until you can get to elite, which is Cat 2 in
Mhm.
America. So just trying to help them bridge that gap and get into the elite field. But running a team is a lot of work. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of heartache and headache. And I don't want that for myself. I really don't. Like, it is a natural progression. It is an obvious thing that I would do that makes sense, but I really don't want to, if I'm being completely honest with you.
Okay.
And like, even this composite and the Cat 3 and all of this other stuff is feels like I'm Icarus flying a little bit too close to the to the sun
Yeah.
with that, but I think it's super necessary, and so we're doing it.
Yeah. So, but those are your, I can't say kids, but those are your ladies that will probably feed over to Europe at some point. So, like, even though, like, there's plus and there's negative. I totally get you with the team managing and stuff. That's a lot. So,
Yeah, ideally I'd make them or help them gain the experience that they need to be noticed by teams that are already existing or teams that are forming. But
mhm.
I don't want to start a team. I really don't.
No worries, no worries. Long as we get the, I think the result where we get more young ladies like yourself in the sport and progressing in the sport and doing that thing in the sport. So yeah, I just want to segue quickly to, for me it was a highlight of your racing when you finished. I think you finished sixth. Was it sixth on the
The
Antonell
sixth or
Campbell?
seventh, I actually don't remember.
Yeah, six. Yeah, on that and the thing and that's one of the things what I just talked about earlier. I had to search so hard to find footage of that. And then I didn't realize that there was a crash as well at the finish. You had to dodge around
Oh
a
yeah.
crash. And all of this stuff, I'm like, all you heard was Tanal Campbell won and Ayesha McGowen was six, in the top 10 and da da da. It's like if there was a men's race, you would have heard so much about like what happened in the last K, how it, it's just like, I'm like, man, they really need to fix up and look sharp. But anyway, we'll get there. We'll get there. But that for me, how was that moment for you? Like, how do you remember that moment?
It was very satisfying. I was having a pretty rough week. It was my first race in Europe ever, and I was very new to the team and very new to the equipment and very new to everything. And so to have a success like that was great. It felt really nice, and of course, it would have felt better to win.
Yeah, yeah,
But I feel like it was vindication in a way, because a lot of going into it, a lot of people really didn't believe that I deserved to be there, and so
yes.
to do well was satisfying.
So you said that you know you're gonna give the racing a break. Do you think you're gonna get back into it or?
I mean, I'm not racing in Europe this year, but I'm going to race with my program in
Mhm.
America. So basically, being a mentor within the races and trying to help them have like that firsthand learning experience. I live in Spain, but I'll be traveling to the States to support the programs and do some racing there. Yeah.
Which countries would you say are the warmest countries to visit as a cyclist?
Um, I mean, Spain's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I haven't had any trouble in Italy. I've done pretty well every time I've been there, and they really do like to feed you.
Hmm.
Um, I think I struggle most in the colder, colder region.
Okay. Okay. Questions? Is there anything that I didn't mention that you want to just tap on?
I mean, the other project that I work on and that I'm a part of is the Black Boxes, and that's a pretty big thing that it takes up a lot of my physical and mental space.
Hmm.
But we are working on another den retreat, which is really cool. It's the event that we run in the fall,
Hmm.
and this year it'll be October 17th through the 20th in Old Fort, North Carolina. And it's basically a trail fest. So I spend most of my time on the road, racing bikes on the road. But it's really nice to have that switch to off road, where it focuses more on like mountain biking, gravel riding, trail running, hiking, things like that.
Hmm.
I think there will be some road riding this year because there's just great road riding around there. But yeah, the Black Foxes is pretty, I don't know, I'm pretty proud of it. So it's another program that is close to my heart. And so,
I was
yeah.
gonna ask you about the gravel, the gravel riding or racing. Is that like in your repertoire much?
It's a
Do you,
thing I do for fun, but I don't want to race it. I did Unbound once and I said never again.
which one? Which length did you do?
The 200.
Wow, I even despise 200 on the road.
Yeah, it's too much. It's
Yeah,
for me, it's not fun. I mean, there are some people that really enjoy those longer distances, those ultra
yeah.
distances. I'm not on that list of people.
How many
And
hours
I've
did it
done
take?
long rides on the road, but it took me all day. I had a really rough day. I wasn't able to eat that day. I was probably struggling with the health stuff that I didn't know about.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't remember the exact hours, but it was dark when I woke up and it was dark when I finished. So
Yeah,
it took me all day.
yeah. I've done a couple. The longest I've done is 185. It was dark when I started and dark when I finished. So I can imagine, like, man, and it's not. Wow, 200 miles. Isha, wait. This is what we got to give you. 200 miles. That's what you deserve. That.
Yeah.
That's. Any to anybody that does the 200-mile ride. I love riding. I got up at 3 this morning to do my ride. I got up at 2, left at 3 to do my ride. Did my 4 hours or whatever. But it's like 200 miles. Wow. And man, hats off to you. I mean, seriously, well done to you.
Hats off to you. It's too cold to be doing that right now in the morning.
It's
No.
it's actually 52 degrees. It's balmy.
In the early hours of the day?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
okay. That's not
it's
so bad.
it's really weird. So what's going to happen is we're probably going to get a bit of a freeze later on. So I'm trying to take advantage of
Mm,
because it was really cold a little while ago. Like
yeah.
it was getting down in the teens, in the low teens, and I was still out there. And this was only about 3 weeks ago, and now it's actually pretty nice. So it just feels good just to be. And I think I needed to be riding a bike because I was getting pretty miserable and stuff, and you know not very user friendly. So bike changes that. So what does the bike do for you? How does it change? How does it make you feel when you're on the bike?
It depends. It depends on my purposes. If I'm just out for a ride, or if I'm training, doing intervals, or if I'm out with friends or traveling, racing, I feel like I feel a plethora of feelings and emotions depending
Mm.
on the scenario. But I think the bike is a magical, wonderful tool, and it has done so much for me in my life, and I'm thankful for it. Yeah.
Yeah, this has been an interesting conversation. I've learned a lot that I didn't know and stuff. So, any oh, you know what? I wanted to ask you, what do you think about the other ladies that are in the sport? Like, how did you get along with them? Like Laurie Sharp, Tanel Campbell, and I think that's all there
They're
is, isn't it?
great.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few more women on the Canyon SRAM generation team now. And then there's Iru, and that might be it. It's a handful, but we have more than we started with, so that's great progress. But I definitely know Lori and Tennille the best, and they're wonderful humans.
Okay. So I've been reaching out to Tineo, and she hasn't responded back to me because
Yeah,
she doesn't know who I am. So basically, I'm not surprised really. But at some point, hopefully, I get to speak to her. I got to speak to Lori. She's pretty cool. So she's now in U.S. in Legion. I was surprised at that move. Did you know she was going to Legion?
I knew. Yeah.
Yeah. So what did you think when you're leaving Europe to go to? What was your thoughts?
I think it'll be good for her to be closer to home for a bit, and
Yeah.
then maybe she'll come back. But I think Europe is hard. It's really really hard, and so it's. I think she was here for 2 years straight. I mean, she went home sometimes, but
Mm-hmm.
you don't see your family very much. You don't do much but train. It's not. it's not the glamorous lifestyle that everyone thinks it is.
Yeah.
Being a professional cyclist is really, really hard. So I'm happy for her. I think she's going to have a lot of fun this year. I think she's going to learn a lot. Those guys know so much, and they're so talented, and so she's going to soak it all up, and it's going to make her a better bike racer. And so I'm excited for her.
Good. Let's shed some light on to the young ladies. Like, what? Not trying to scare anybody, or anything, but what exactly is involved in being a pro cyclist?
I don't think you have time for that. I don't think I have time for that. But it's a lot of discipline. I think that's the main thing. It's a lot of discipline. It's a lot of sacrifice. It's not very forgiving. It's a lot of heartbreak. And the successes, they can come, but for most people, I mean, you only have one winner in a race. If you're lucky, that winner is on your team, and you get close to that. But other than that, you're just pack filler. You're just in the peloton, racing your bike and hopefully having a good time. But it's not all glory, and there's not a lot of opportunities, and it's fast paced, and it can be fun, but it can be really hard.
Before I end it, I want you to just drop all your stuff and your Instagram and all of that stuff.
You can find me on Instagram at I suppose, which is AYESUPPOSE. The Abundance Project is TheAbundance Project, PROJECT, and the Black Foxes is the THE_ Black Foxes, BLACKFOXES. So those are all the Instagrams, or you can find all of that information at aquickbrownfox.com.
Cool. Thank you so much. Remember, people, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'm on a journey to save the world one bike at a time. And so is Ayesha. So please help us out. Please help us out. Alrighty. See ya, folks. Your Legs Media, you know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thanks. We got lots of stuff coming up.